Crisis talks in Paris as President Macron attempts to calm the fury on France's streets. The emergency meeting is just ending. Amid all the violence, the home of a French mayor is set alight with his wife and children inside. It's being treated as attempted murder.
I would never have imagined that someone would threaten my family with death and that there would be an assassination attempt in this beautiful city.
Also tonight, patients will pay the price. The warning from health chiefs as yet more strikes approach. And high drama at Lord's on the pitch. Off it, there were boos and chants as England almost pulled off a miraculous Ashes win.
Would I want to potentially win a game with something like that happening? And it would be no.
This is ITV News with Lucy Watson.
Good evening. The French mayor, whose wife and children narrowly escaped with their lives amid escalating violence across France, says he never imagined someone would threaten his family with death. Rioters rammed a burning car into their home in the fifth night of unrest. Violence has engulfed the country since a teenager was shot dead by police on Tuesday. Tonight, President Macron held crisis talks with his cabinet as the grandmother of that 17-year-old called for calm. Stop rioting, stop destroying, she said. Sergio Caria has the latest now from Paris.
It is a troubling escalation in these riots. The scorched car used as a weapon to attack the home of a local mayor of a Paris suburb. Last night, protesters set fire to the car and rammed it into the front gate of the house, injuring his wife and one of his children. Speaking on French television, the mayor described the attack as shocking.
There
is no doubt that he wanted to burn down the house. From the moment they realised that there were people inside because the lights were on, far from stopping, on the contrary, they unleashed a wave of fireworks that was completely insane.
And the public prosecutor has begun an investigation for attempted murder.
La qualification de tentative d'assassinat.
Given the extreme seriousness of these events, the Public Prosecutor's Office has decided to classify them as an assassination attempt, and every effort will be made to find the perpetrators and bring them to justice.
As violence erupted again for a fifth night running, the worst of it in Marseille, with street battles between police and protesters. In central Paris, on its famous boulevard, the Champs-Élysées, only a huge show of force stopped looting and demonstrations. The order from the top was to get a grip. Officers had been stopping, searching and arresting vast numbers of youths from early evening. But many young black and Arab men here don't feel safe around the police, accusing them of racial profiling and discrimination.
I think it's a problem from the police's side, not gonna lie. Not all, but many of the French police are racist.
Are you afraid of the police?
Am I afraid? Frankly, every time I find myself in a situation where I'm stopped, I immediately feel afraid.
Tonight, President Macron has held a crisis meeting with top ministers and security officials. And with feelings still running high, the question is how the government will bring these riots to an end.
And Sergio joins us live now from Paris, where in the last half hour, President Macron has issued a statement. Sergio, is that right?
Yes, that's right. President Macron is under intense pressure to find a solution after 5 nights of rioting. And we're told that in this meeting tonight, he has asked his government to begin a dialogue with the communities who are angry to find out why. At the same time, he said that the police have his full support and that the security of the country is the #1 priority. Tonight there have been calls for calm by the grandmother of 17-year-old Nael, the teenager who was shot dead by police and whose death has sparked protests across the country. She is urging them to stop, saying that they are using her grandson's death as an excuse. Also, authorities have given police approval to use drone surveillance over some neighbourhoods, over certain parts of Paris, in an effort to bring an end to the violence.
Sejal in Paris, thank you. In the week the NHS celebrates its 75th anniversary, the boss of the service is warning the public to expect significant disruption in care. Later this month, both junior doctors and consultants will go on strike in a row over pay. Amanda Pritchard said today that patients will pay the price for the breakdown in negotiations. Well, our political correspondent Harry Horton joins me now. A bit embarrassing this for the government, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, I think the government certainly would have hoped that with winter and spring out the way, that it would have been through the worst of these NHS strikes, but that doesn't appear to be the case. The boss of NHS England, Amanda Pritchard, said today that the disruption caused by strikes is only going to get more significant as we hit this next round. She said that patients are paying the price for this industrial action. And the reasons it's going to get more significant, we think, is partly because this next round of strikes will last for 7 days in quick succession. The second reason is that we're told that the work of junior doctors, and in particular the work of consultants, is much harder to cover. So we're likely to see more operations cancelled and increase that backlog of procedures in the NHS that is already there. Now, the latest round of strikes due to take place later this month, the 13th to the 18th of July. Junior doctors are on strike. Just after that, we'll see consultants go on strike as well. Nurses' strikes, they're off. That's because the Royal College of Nursing failed to reach the required threshold in their ballot of members. Now, today, the Health Secretary, Steve Barclay, has been speaking. He says there's currently no talks ongoing with junior doctors to avoid their strikes.
Junior doctors chose to walk away from the talks. There are many other issues for us to discuss, such as people taking annual leave, changes in rosters, some of the wellbeing issues that junior doctors face. We stand ready to have those discussions, but the junior doctors need to stop their strikes.
Now, the British Medical Association that represents junior doctors, they say it was the government who cancelled the remaining meetings they had. They say, though, that if Rishi Sunak makes a credible offer, they will call off their strike action.
And on it goes, Harry. Thank you. More disruption is expected on the rail networks over the next 6 days as train drivers refuse to work overtime. Members of the ASLEF union will not work extra hours from tomorrow until Saturday. The move is part of a long-running dispute over pay and conditions. 16 train operators around England will be affected, including South Western Railway, Northern, Great Western Railway and Chiltern Railways. Operators are warning customers of short-notice cancellations and alterations to their timetable. 2 people have been killed after a mass shooting at a party in Baltimore in America. Another 28 people were taken to hospital with injuries. The gunman is still on the run. Tributes have been paid to Lord Bob Kerslake, who has died from cancer at the age of 68. The former head of the civil service served under the coalition government, but recently worked as an advisor to Labour. The US President Joe Biden will meet the King and the Prime Minister when he visits the UK later this month. The White House said today the trip will strengthen UK-US relations. It comes after Rishi Sunak visited Washington, D.C. in June. Cricket now, and a fiery second Ashes test has gone the way of Australia in what was one of the most thrilling ends to a test match in recent memory. After the controversial dismissal of Johnny Bairstow, England captain Ben Stokes then scored an astonishing century. But inside Lord's, some angry fans confronted Australia's players. The members have since been suspended. Australia now have a 2-0 lead in the 5-match series. Chris Scudder reports on a dramatic day at Lord's.
It'll go down as one of the most contentious moments in the long history of the Ashes.
Oh, now this is going to be interesting.
England's Johnny Bairstow walked out of his ground when he thought the ball was dead, and the Aussies' Alex Carey ran him out. Within the rules of the game, but outside the spirit of it. Just not cricket. Same old Aussies always cheating, sang the England crowd.
That's all you're ever going to be remembered for, that. That's all you'll ever be remembered for.
Was the smouldering exchange from Stuart Broad to Carey. But the most damning verdict came from the Lord's long room, that bastion of fair play and politeness. The Aussies were booed and confronted as they came off for lunch. Lord's officials had to apologise to the Australians. The blue touch paper was lit and Ben Stokes went on the rampage. 3 sixes in a row, and Lord's normally reserved crowd was roaring with approval.
An epic way to go to a Test match 100.
It was a heroic attempt to win the match, but after 9 big sixes, Stokes was eventually out for a superb 155. And from there, England fell 43 runs short, but the big talking point was the Bairstow dismissal.
Would I want to potentially win a game with something like that happening? And it would be no.
I thought it was fair. You know, it's... you see Johnny do it all the time. He did it day one to Davey Warner. He did it in 2019 to Steve. It's a really common thing for keepers to do if they see a batter keep leaving their crease.
But an extraordinary day will be remembered for the controversy. England tonight hurt but diplomatic, and the Australians on the defensive.
There's a difference between the spirit and the law, and this was within the law but not within the spirit.
Didn't do anything wrong. Cummins could have reversed the decision, however, in my opinion, it was cricket.
Bairstow was a bit dozy to let it happen to him, but the gloves are off now.
And that is sure to set up a spicy third test at Headingley on Thursday. Chris Scudder, ITV News, Lords.
And finally, if you can have a look out of the window tonight, you might get to see the first supermoon of the year lighting up the night sky. And pretty beautiful it is too. It is bigger and brighter tonight because the moon is closest in its orbit to Earth. But if you miss it tonight, you can also catch a glimpse of it after sunset tomorrow. They are some beautiful shots of a supermoon, and that is it from the Weekend Team. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Everywhere will be lovely and warm today. You might even be tempted to go for a dip. Heinz Seriously Good Mayonnaise sponsors ITV National Weather.
Hello again. An unsettled week ahead weather-wise across the country. Over the next 24 hours, quite a few showers and spells of rain in the north. Drier conditions further south. It's breezy and fresh, with temperatures gradually rising in the run-up to the weekend. In the meantime, tonight, central and southern parts will become dry over the next few hours. Further heavy rain across the north of Scotland and 1 or 2 showers moving into Northern Ireland by the end of the night. It's not going to be chilly, 9 or 10 Celsius the overnight low. A wet start across the far north tomorrow morning, but central and southern parts will have a dry start to the day. A few showers for western Scotland, Northern Ireland, and a band of rain moving into Wales, the northwest of England, and transferring eastwards during tomorrow afternoon. Some of that will be rather heavy. Drier further south with some sunshine here and there, and temperatures in the southeast will reach 21 Celsius, 70 Fahrenheit tomorrow afternoon. The rest of the week looking unsettled, but temperatures gradually rising. Good night.
Heinz Seriously Good Mayonnaise sponsors ITV National Weather.
This summer, I have a few questions about the cost of living.
The heat
This is going to involve tough decisions.
That's the 4th time you've asked.
There's 4 times you refuse to answer it.
On.
Stormy, are you frightened?
Yeah, I think we all should be.
You present GMB, you know that people are going to like it.
It's not a comedy show. It's not a comedy show. For heated debate, join us on Good Morning Britain.
Whatever the weather, it always feels like home. Vaillant Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV London Weekend Weather.
Hello and a very good evening to you. Hope you're all keeping well. So the weather story for the next few days is a changeable one across the capital. So there will be some sunny spells around at times, but also a few showers, and some of these showers could be on the heavy side. Now the reason for this setup, got low pressure in charge of things, so it's keeping the UK fairly unsettled. You can see here at times we'll have systems working their way through, bringing showers or longer spells of rain. But as I mentioned, there will be some sunshine in between, but you can see the squeeze in those isobars at times. It will be fairly blustery. Now for the rest of tonight, it's fairly quiet out there, just the chance of 1 or 2 showers, but for most of us we're tucked underneath those clear skies, and that's with temperatures there between 10 and 13 degrees. So for some areas a bit of a chilly start to the day first thing on Monday morning, but there will be some bright or sunny spells around, and then as the day continues that cloud will start to increase, and eventually a few showers will start to work their way towards us, especially in the later part of the afternoon. And some of these showers, if you catch one, could be heavy. Those winds will start to strengthen, and that wind will be taking the edge off the temperatures tomorrow. Highs there up to around 20 or 21 degrees. Bye-bye.
Valent Heat Pumps and Boilers sponsor ITV London Weekend Weather.